Hey folks, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hey.
Yes, I was a speaker mute as
Oh,
usual.
I forget that for some reason this doesn't have like a little ding dong when somebody like joins. So I'm sitting here doing other things and I'm like, oh, let me go check to see if anybody's joined. Sure enough, two people joined. Thanks. Thank you for joining, folks. Real quick, I'm gonna put this in the chat and I'll probably put it in the chat one more time. If folks on the call that haven't already filled out the meeting time survey
Okay.
for this particular meeting, if you could fill it out, we're trying to see, based off of the folks that regularly attend this meeting, if there's a better time that might be more suitable for some of the other SIG leads so that we can know what each of the different SIGs are doing within SLSA. So we're trying to see if an earlier time might make more sense or if it could even work. So if you have a few minutes, if you could fill that out, that'd be fantastic. And then second item is obviously sign in. I haven't even signed in. So let me let me sign in myself. And if for whatever reason you hear screaming or I go on mute and disappear, I have two sick kids at home. So it has been quite the day today, coming back from I wouldn't say holiday because they were sick yesterday too. So it's been quite the day. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Let me share screen. Google Chrome. Everybody see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let me zoom in real quick. Okay, so I did put that in the chat for the meeting time survey. So I'm hoping to close that out and get a couple more folks to chime in. This is a quick update for the OSSF website for SLSA. Tracy is finally back from vacation. So she's going to set up a meeting to kind of go through like what we need to do to kind of kickstart this process off and you know what types of things that they need from us. And before I go on to other things, does anybody have any topics to discuss that aren't these last three? Nope.
Not on my side.
Okay. Silence is, I guess, golden in a sense. This scenario rather. Okay, so I'm hoping to get through these two things, finalize the conference talk titles. I think we did a pretty good job last time with Michelle on the call. And then kind of start the abstracts for those talks. And then I was brainstorming on 1.0 blog ideas. If folks on this call aren't aware, basically 1.0 is scheduled for RFC February, and they're going to give about a month of time for that RFC. And during that time, what's going to happen is the positioning group and the tooling group are going to try to make sure that they are ready for the 1.0 launch. Tooling can handle the 1.0 changes, and then positioning can, you know, get ready with all the blogs that we need for the 1.0 launch. And so they're going to give it about a month. And if tooling and positioning is not ready or something else comes up, then they'll just push the RFC for a little bit so that we can try to finish the 1.0 push and kind of all be in alignment. So that's what's happening. And so I've started to think about the blog, like the blog that we were working on that we might need to tweak. Hi, Jumpsy. Thank you for joining. And
RFC, in this case, it means request for
Hi.
comments, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on. Request. Hold on. Yeah. For
Just
comments.
make sure.
Yeah. Sorry. Beginning of February. Yeah. And I think it's Leon. Is that how you pronounce your name?
Yeah, Leon.
Leon.
Is my friend, yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Well,
Hi,
can you introduce yourself if you are willing? It seems like you are a newcomer, and welcome to the Salsa positioning meeting.
yes, actually, yeah. Yeah, my name is Leon. Actually, I'm part of Accenture, working as a DevOps engineer. Yeah. And I'm just interested in this salsa and related topics. So I just found in CNCF forum regarding these links and meetings. So I just joined for know more
Okay.
about this one.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for joining. Basically, we talk obviously anything and everything about salsa and how to educate the community on salsa and what we should be doing. So that's going to be our focus for
Yes.
the year. This week, I think there's going to be an overall salsa meeting on Thursday, where it's the monthly meeting where the entire community comes together to provide updates. So that could be something interesting for you to attend as well. But for today's meeting, we're talking about the Open Source Summit North America conference that's coming up in May. And we are trying to submit talks as a salsa group to discuss salsa to the community. And so we're hoping to wrap some of that up today. And then after that, if we do have time, then we'll talk about some of the blog ideas for the 1.0 launch that's coming here soon. But thank you for joining. Appreciate it.
Okay.
So the other, okay, so blogs. So I started thinking about the blog ideas for 1.0. Why break up build versus source. So obviously we have the developer blog that we started, and then this is an obvious one, right? The what's new. But then these two kind of came up in my head of, hey, we're going to get a lot of questions on this, right? The SBOM versus the salsa provenance. Why is the salsa provenance the way it is? Why is the format different, etc. So I think that would be good to tackle head first. And then why the breakup, right? People are probably going to be confused. The what's new will probably dive into, okay, we have broken it up, but it may not go into detail as to the why it was best to break it up. So that might be another area that we might want to discuss. So if folks have ideas for other blogs that we might want to release when the 1.0 finally gets published, feel free to add it here, and then we can start drafting some of those blogs and putting them into a PR for review. Okay. Questions, comments before we move on to the conference talks?
So Melba, on the SBOM versus salsa provenance, I mean, I don't think it's a big secret. I can say we had some internal discussion within IBM as to whether it made sense to keep those things different, or if it would make sense on contrary to kind of have some kind of convergence. And for those who are not familiar with this, I mean, essentially salsa provenance 0.x was essentially about the build environment, but in the next version, the 1.0, it actually encompasses a lot of the stuff that you would typically find in an SBOM, which means you have especially with regard to the dependencies. So it goes beyond just capturing information about the build environment, and also provides information about the dependencies, which you would typically find in an SBOM. And so internally we thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to kind of consolidate those things so we don't have to, have different types of formats for similar information? So I was wondering if you had any additional information on that, Melba?
Yes. And so what I found on Friday was that there are certain things that the SLSA community is wanting to capture within the SBOM that the specification doesn't allow for today without it being lumped into like a generic or other bucket, right? Because there are fields that you can say, you can add additional metadata, but anybody can add additional metadata to that. It's not dedicated to that.
Right.
And so it's not off the table for it to converge or, be one and the same. But right now, tactically, they're not able to get what they need from the specification. And so I've asked Matt Rakowski for the 1.5 CDX specification draft that he's helping with, to see if that helps any, or to see if there is a gap, can we release it in the 1.5 to make the transition quicker. So there are tactical reasons why it's different. But it's not off the table for it to be converged or one in the future once the specifications do allow for it. At least that's the explanation that was given to me on Friday.
Okay, but that sounds reasonable to me. So
Yes,
that's,
correct.
and all of these are moving parts, obviously. So, we can expect some changes as we move forward.
Yeah, correct. And so I think that's going to be a key thing, right? That people are going to want to understand, like the why.
Yes.
And so I think that might be a good blog.
I agree.
Any other questions before we move on? Okay. So for folks that weren't here last week, we went through some of these conference talks for Open Source Summit, and we wanted to do one for SLSA for beginners. These were all the titles that were come up with. And we didn't really vote on a final one, so it would be great if we can kind of narrow it down to one. So do folks have a preference? And maybe I should number these so that way we can just vote based off number. Which title you think would better suit a SLSA for beginners conversation? There's SLSA, the AppSec condiment. SLSA, it goes with all your apps. Can I have some salsa with that? It's salsa, not seltzer. Salsa, it's AppSec, not a dance. Salsa with your security team. Salsa dancing in your pipeline. So can folks put I guess maybe your top two in the chat, or you can speak to your top two and we can figure out like what the majority is. Or you can actually comment on here too if you want. I'll put the link again for the doc. You can comment.
That's probably
I vote for 3 and
because...
6.
Sorry, sorry.
Yeah.
I was saying it's probably easier to just add like a +1 or something in the document. That way you'll have the total directly.
Yep. Yeah, so I put the link. I'm gonna comment on these two. These are my favorites because it's let me zoom out. It shows newbie, right? Because it's almost as if you're explaining that it's not what you think it is. And so that almost indicates it's for a newbie conversation. But are folks in there?
It's pretty good. I mean, maybe you should be in marketing.
Yeah, that was Michelle. Michelle was awesome.
Okay.
She was just like putting these stuff down like constantly. I think Bruno came up with the good, bad, and ugly about salsa, and I thought that was really good for a panel discussion. So I think we have that one settled. But yeah, this was all Michelle last week, and
Yeah.
yeah, she was on fire. So what do we think, folks, for the salsa for beginners? I'm not seeing any votes in the chat or on the doc itself.
Because it's difficult. And they're really good.
They are. They are. They are. Oh, maybe here, how about this? How about we go through the other ones so that we kind of get to see some of the other ones. And maybe that'll help too. The other one is a panel discussion, trying to get people to talk about their journey. So this is the good, bad, and ugly about salsa. And then I don't think we didn't come up with salsa hands-on. Oh, salsa hands-on demo. There's 3. There's salsa with us, or salsa with us, the dance of AppSec, or salsa, the dance of AppSec. So they're very similar. They're just, you know, different permutations of them, of one or the other. And then for S2C2S, salsa and fresca, which is part of the supply chain integrity working group, this was one of the only ones that Michelle came up with, which is ketchup, mustard, and leadership supply chain security.
My goodness.
So this one was a really good one. So I like this one. And I like the good, bad, and the ugly, right? So we really need the hands-on demo and the salsa for beginners one to be decided.
So I think the hands-on demo, if we can focus on that one,
Yeah,
I think
okay,
the first one is not descriptive enough because it's too generic. You have absolutely no clue what this is about. At least the other one have AppSec in it. So I think it's a bit better. And I think I would lean towards 2 because the with us goes well if it's well, actually it depends. It's not a workshop, right? It's just a demo.
It's what we were envisioning was that we would have it would be a workshop. People could pull out their laptops and they would pull a sample repo and be able to do this on their own with the help of folks in the session.
And I think 2 is the best, but.
And 2, yeah. But if they didn't have a laptop, you know, there could be someone going through the demo live.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
But that's what we were thinking for the hands-on demo, that people could tinker if they really did want to.
Yeah, this is in line with the one point we mentioned earlier, like dancing with salsa. So if you scroll up, salsa dancing in your pipeline, maybe that's point number 7. So that can be, anyway, this demo will be the demo of the pipeline, right? Along with the pipeline, we'll show either with GitLab or with Cloud Build, Google Cloud Build. So
you're thinking adding this one as an option for the hands-on demo?
Either that way, because I am not envision, but like what we are envision on point number 2 and 3, like what will be the content of this demo. So my understanding on that is we will demonstrate how a CI/CD pipeline will utilize salsa for like build and deployment, basically, right? So that's what the demo I'm expecting to be there as part of this. Or do you think any other things also coming in the picture?
Yeah, we were thinking a level 1 and level 2 demo. So keep it very basic. Obviously, we could have a more higher level, level 3 or level 4. I don't want to commit to level 3 because I know there's still some level 3 things that are being defined, and level 4 we're not even touching. So I think we decided, okay, if we do a level 1, level 2 demo and then just talk to level 3 and level 4, that could be
Yeah,
sufficient.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have seen earlier SLSA level 1 and 2 demo with the Google Cloud build pipeline. But I also know that GitLab also supporting this. But maybe my question is like, are we showing the demo with GitLab or with the Google Cloud build pipelines to show this SLSA level 1 and 2, or are we having some other thoughts on it? How do we demonstrate it to?
Yeah, we've not decided that yet. This is just,
Okay.
hey, we want to submit a talk on this because between the tooling, our group and potentially the specification group, we can come up with a demo of some sort. But we don't need the specifics yet. It's more of, okay, let's see if we can get a hands-on demo, and if they say yes, then we can come up with the demo. If they say no, then we don't have to do the work. So that was the thinking behind it. Actually, most of this, right? We have a high level thought of what we could talk about, but we don't have to prep anything yet. It's just to submit the ideas.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So for the hands-on demo, what are we thinking? I can put my vote here. I do like this also with us. Shows collaboration, lab work. Included.
Even
Like
I vote for that. SLSA with us. Yeah.
Okay, so jump seat. Okay.
And like I mentioned, like when it comes to the real demo, then salsa dancing in your pipeline will be also a good caption if you show a demonstration using GitLab or with the Google Cloud build.
Rest of the folks, what do we think about the salsa hands-on demo? Hey, Mike, thanks for joining. Mike is probably like, what is happening? Hey, Mike.
No problem. Hey.
So we're trying to submit talks for the salsa group to talk to for open source summit. So it's not just this team, it's all the 3 different teams to try to, talk about salsa. So we haven't decided, who would be presenting or who would be hosting, but we thought that these would be really good talks to submit. And then once we were done with the abstracts, we were gonna put it out for the other SIG leads to take a look. So just a heads up on that.
Yeah, no, sounds good.
Okay, so we have several folks on the call. We need, I think, a little bit more majority on the salsa hands-on demo, what we think the title should be.
I vote number 2.
Okay.
I don't really know how to put that in the doc, but
yeah, I'll just put. I think I'm gonna spell your name wrong. Arnaud. Okay, sorry. I know how to say it.
Well, that's better than many people, so.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I have 3. Trying to think. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. There's 7, and there's only 3 votes. I need 1 more.
Well, don't be shy, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, I'll go with number 2 as well.
Okay, we're not forcing you to choose 2.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's a good choice.
Let me see. Can I add? Okay, so Bruno +1. Oh, okay.
Just edit the previous comment, no?
No, it's just it's all like ordered weird now.
I like number 2 as well.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
You're the man.
I apologize. I got 5 things happening all at the same time. So
it's okay.
You're all good, Jay.
This
You made the right call, so I'm good.
Okay. I'm trying to add you, Jay, but it's not letting me add more comments. Oh, there it goes.
I think
Right,
you,
yeah.
you can edit the comment. I think it'll be easier. No?
Oh, I'm trying. Hold on.
Oh, can't you
Let's
edit the
see.
comment? Oh, maybe not.
Edit. Oh,
I thought there was
Okay.
a way to edit comments.
yeah,
but-
yeah. Okay, so plus, no,
'cause I don't know what is what now.
and J. Okay, save. Okay, let me delete the other ones. Delete. 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 And delete. There. Okay, so I put it in this one right
Yeah,
here.
that makes it easier.
Okay, so this is the one that we pick. Green. Okay. There's only really one for this last one. So I think the ketchup, mustard, and relish of supply chain security is probably going to win. Even though that may not be the right analogy, I think it's a really catchy title, and it's gonna, at the very
Yeah.
least, draw people to the abstract to see what is the talk going to be
That's
about.
true. Awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an awesome title. You know, it's got to get people attention, which, you know.
Yes. Yes. Okay, and then this one's already decided. Okay, so now salsa for
I wonder
beginners.
if you could, maybe it should say software supply chain at least. I mean,
Oh.
I don't think we want to do open source software supply chain. That's a bit too long, but yeah, because supply chain, I mean, it's a bit
Yeah.
too generic.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so last but certainly not least, salsa for beginners. We need some votes on this one, what the title should be.
So I would vote against 4 just to try to make progress.
Okay, so
I don't know if it helps, but I think it's too,
thumbs down. Okay.
yeah. And 3 maybe is also too generic and not say anything at all about security or anything.
Okay.
Could be about anything at all. So
Folks on the call.
Yeah, for beginners, even I vote for point number 4. It's salsa, not salsa.
Is that a vote down?
No, plus. For the
Okay,
beginners,
so,
it's good. It's plus
okay,
1.
so jump C. A thumbs up.
so given that we chose salsa with the dance of AppSec, it doesn't make much sense to say it for the beginner, it's AppSec, not a dance, which seems to
Yeah.
contradict the other. So I think
Mm.
we should eliminate 5.
The dance of AppSec. Got it. Contradict. Title.
For point number 6 as well, the similar command like salsa is not only with the security team, even
Yes.
developer do this activity that also inclusive of developers. So
Mm. Okay, so that's okay. Other thoughts?
I like number 1 the best, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because there's AppSec in it, which I think is very relevant, and it's still a play on words that's cool. And
Yeah, because eventually there are people that really do not know what it means salsa. So
Yeah,
connect with
absolutely.
that. It's like, oh, okay, now I understand now the joke.
Exactly.
But just like Milba, last time also we discussed this point. Just in future, salsa is scoped only for the AppSec, or is maybe in future it will also consider any code like infrastructure as a code tomorrow comes into picture, that whether where we need, are we defining salsa for that also. In that case, can we say salsa only for AppSec? It can be for infrasec also if I use IAC build and deployment.
I agree with that. So I kind of expected somebody to say that actually, because AppSec is a bit maybe too limiting, but
Yeah.
maybe we could maybe change AppSec and keep the rest, and a bit along the lines of what we had earlier, the talk about software supply chain
The software
security.
supply chain-
It makes it a lot longer and less catchy maybe, but more accurate. So then that's your choice.
Mm,
You could just say security instead. It's also the security condiment, but
here, let's see.
no.
Yeah.
Other folks on the call. Mike J. Leon, I think I might be butchering your name again, sorry. Oh, Mike, I just saw the I like it comment. I don't know what that was in reference to. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that was just the mustard relish ketchup one.
Oh, got it. Got it. So maybe, now that I think about it, because of that one, maybe we should stick with the condiment. Because you're talking about it down here, right? These are
Yep,
condiments for hot dogs and
it's true.
so maybe that
Oh.
makes it a good one because of that.
Or can we say like salsa, the security condiment?
I think the same comment you had here about salsa with your security team is not just for security.
Here the team coming into picture in point number 6, but here we are not saying team, it's a security. It can be taken by any team. Like, yeah.
Oh, I see.
So the team is not there, right?
Yes, I agree. The team was the problem, not so much
Okay,
security
that's fair.
aspect.
So what if this changes to salsa with your security?
Yeah,
Right.
makes sense. I agree with that then. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think people would resonate with that one anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah, I tend to want to keep it AppSec. I get the argument. That it can be used for more than AppSec. But I feel like if you just put security, you might lose the main people
Yeah.
that you're trying to target.
but I agree with that. I think it's one of those cases where it's like, trying to find a compromise, and I don't think it stopped you from, expanding when you present about it and point out that it goes beyond AppSec, strictly
Yes.
speaking, obviously, but I think it kind of frames it in pretty well.
Okay. So Mike J, Leon, do you have any thoughts on these?
Well, I kind of agree with you before. I did like salsa dancing in your pipeline. I like that. I was dancing in your pipeline one, but I kind of liked your reasoning before about the newbie ones. I mean, other than that, I think these are all really good. I think these are all really good. I just you know, in terms of the plan was, I'm not a marketing person, so please, you know, I don't even, I think for the most part.
Oh,
I think I lost you, Jay, unless it's
Yeah.
my connection.
I was going to say, don't feel ashamed. I don't think any of us are marketing people.
No. No,
we
we're
just
not.
want to
Yeah.
pretend and not let that stop us, as good engineers do.
Jay, are you frozen?
Of course, if you're a little bit more rigid, salsa, it's AppSec, not a dance. That might be a little bit of your flavor, you know.
So Jay, we lost you for a while.
Oh,
Are
really?
you back?
Yeah, you,
Oh,
you
crap.
froze, and then we didn't have you talking for a bit. And
Oh,
you just came
man.
back.
What's the last thing you heard?
You're not a marketing person.
Yes.
Oh,
you're not a
hell,
marketing person.
I said a whole bunch of stuff after that. Like, so salsa, it's AppSec, not a dance. Like, I think if you're a bit more rigid, that one might be your flavor. If you like, you know, kind of directing, you don't find enjoyment from this. You just want to get your information and get in and get out. Salsa dancing in your pipeline is a bit more fun, right? If you actually enjoy this stuff and you want to, you know, you're happy-go-lucky about learning something about salsa, that might be a bit more your flavor. But I also like the comments, the 4 and 5, because they really go towards the newbie, right? I mean, I don't know. I like I said, I'm not a marketing person, so you're you know, I'll read an article without looking at the title.
I'm gonna try to capture all of that as best as I can in here. So Mike, Leon.
But I mean, here we are thinking of, like, you know, you're looking at a conference agenda program, right? And it's good to have a title that's catchy, but also gives you a hint as to what it is about. So I think from that point of view, it's good to be a bit more specific than just saying, can I have some salsa with that, for instance, which is really too generic in my opinion.
And I think
Even though it's kind of cool, don't get me wrong.
I'm trying to find the comments for this one, Derek. I think Jay, you said you like this one too, just depending on the audience. Okay, so Chomsky, did you say even with this you would vote for it, or only if you change the title?
Yeah, after changing the title, because from my understanding, like it's not only limited to AppSec. So in near future, we will also come the infrastructure as code. Yeah, well, for example, I have done earlier like the Terraform pipeline implementation, design and implementations. So there are some security features we added using different tools like TFSec, Checo, etc. So tomorrow we will also do a specification for like infra as well, and will be incorporated to the build and deployment pipeline. Say that is also now in line with the SLSA specification and in version 2 or 3 like that. So in that aspect, it's not limited to AppSec. So
And you strike through to get rid of some of these.
yeah, that's good.
I don't know. Is it this? No, that's clear formatting. I don't know how to do strike through in Google Docs format text. There it goes.
Maybe parallel styles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we know these aren't going to happen. We know this one's not going to happen. Pretty sure this one's not happening. The not salsa.
Yeah.
So then it's down to these three. 2 have AppSec, but then 2 have dancing.
So the point number 7, I think today we added in our meeting, right? So can we make like salsa dancing in your software delivery pipeline or supply chain, software supply chain?
Near.
Instead of pipeline, we can say the supply chain. That is already there in our SLSA full form, but still.
Sorry, I'm trying to. So you're saying like that? It's also dancing in your supply chain.
Yeah. In software supply chain, yeah.
That might be too long.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Or do we need to mention? Okay, that's true. Yeah, it's long.
Sorry, I'm trying to clear formatting. There we go. Yeah, that might be too long.
Yeah, that's not answering. Yeah, too long.
Yeah, I'm more keen towards number 1 or 5, but given that so many people have voted for number 1,
or simply we will put let's dance with salsa.
Let's dance with salsa. I feel like that would be more of a hands-on lab demo.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I think I'm okay with 1 or 5. I think if we do 7 and we say pipeline, you might lose some people, right? You might attract some people, but this is supposed to be salsa for beginners. And so if it's beginners, they may not understand pipeline.
The pipeline is, yeah.
Right. They might be developers, maybe they've been a developer for a long time and they don't know about modern tooling or have never played with modern tooling. So, right. Even infrastructure as code, we might be a bit much for somebody that has just been a developer all their life. I'm not saying that this is the norm, but just if you're trying to target true beginners, including for salsa, you might have to lower the expectation. There could be CISOs. There could be just new developers that they're being told, hey, we need to figure out how to do this, right? So I'm just thinking from that mindset, that beginner mindset, you can't assume they know anything about pipeline. But at the same time, you can't assume they know anything about AppSec either. So I don't know.
So as I said,
sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to point out, I think 5 is out because we chose salsa with us, the dance of AppSec. So you cannot start with saying that it's not a dance.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So it is either the first or the last of those things.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so then it's 1 or 7. I vote for 1. Yeah. Okay. So that was a lot harder than I thought it would be. So this looks like
the short. I mean, short is cute, so I also vote for 1.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna. scratch this. Tools. Strike through. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot of time left. Abstracts. Last time we tried to start the kind of what we wanted to talk about in the abstracts. So here we talked about, basics of supply chain security, intended for beginners or, people that want to get reacquainted with SLSA. Is there anything else that we might want to talk about in terms of SLSA for beginners that we might want to mention in the abstract? This isn't the abstract itself, but these are things that we should consider somehow putting in it. Silence. Tough crowd today. I didn't lose people, did I? I'm still on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's still-
You guys are just choosing to be quiet. Anything else you think we need, or do you think this is enough? And then we just have to write the abstract.
I think that's for abstract, these 2 points is good.
Okay. The panel discussion. I think I only put this one, experiences from different organizations and there's also an adoption journey. Not sure what else we might want to talk about in the abstract. Nothing.
Panel discussion.
So yeah, I'm sure folks are going to want to hear about, like, I mean, I think number one is probably the most important one, but I think, to highlight some of those experiences, I think the things I've always heard from a few folks is like, how did those companies get started in the SLSA adoption journey? I know that was one of the big things we've been, asked a bunch of times, like, where do you even get started when you're starting to look at stuff like SLSA? Does that mean like you should start at SLSA 1? Should you start at like, if you can hit SLSA 2 or SLSA 3, well, what should your focus be?
Okay. One of the things that I think I mentioned too is like how 1.0 affects them, right? I think that's something to really gain from folks that have already gone through their journey with version 1, and then thinking about, okay, well, what do they now have to think about with 1.0, especially having just come out? I feel like that could also be pretty powerful, given that if they started their journey or people are already on their journey and they need to maybe pivot a little bit, how big of a pivot is it? I don't know.
I agree that's a valuable aspect that could be brought in, but the reality is most people haven't done anything yet, right? So the main audience is not going to be the people who have to switch from 0.1 to 1.0. If people just have to get started. So I agree with Michael on that.
It's kind of adoption, like adoption of SLSA to their environment.
Okay, so then where to get started? I say where because it's not just
how to get started.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like, here's SLSA and here's a bunch of websites, but then to Mike's point, he said like level 1, level 2, right? So that's kind of why I put where to get started, because
Oh.
it can be for either, like, here are some resources, but then also level 1, level 2 is going to be a organization to organization choice depending on their maturity, right? Okay, anything else for the panel?
So can we also add where and all, publicly people can use it, like for example, as I told, the products or the readily available industry solutions which already adapt SLSA standards, so like GitLab or Google Cloud Build, or that like how many such products are available so that people can start using it and get the benefit of SLSA.
I don't think we can do that.
Okay.
Because the conformance program, right? Mike,
Right.
yeah, we would need to, I mean, we can have metrics, could potentially get metrics from the conformance program, right? Right now, people are self-attesting, and I don't know that everybody's been validated.
Okay.
So, and some of these may not even be products. I believe Aaron was all internal, right? It wasn't for a product, it's internal. I think this was a product. I think Google had internal and external.
Google.
So so depending on who is doing the panel, it could be a product and it may not be.
But so wait, it's a panel, right? So it's supposed to be, I mean, I think we should think of the abstract as, eventually you're going to turn it into some kind of short text, but essentially what we should focus on is what are the questions that we would want the panel to address, right?
For the abstract?
Yeah, I mean, this is the way, for the abstract. So think in terms of questions you would ask the panel or expect the panel to address, and then you can turn the questions into a small text saying, hey, in this session, we will be discussing those things. So you will learn about this and that and whatnot, right?
Biggest challenge, adoption. I'm guessing that's going to be a big one, right?
Because then, I mean, there may be one question which is about what you were saying earlier. For if it affects some people, it's like, how do you anticipate, given we have panelists that have already experienced, with SLSA 1.0 or 0.1, you can ask, so how do you anticipate anything specific to the transition from 0.1 to 1.0?
Like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
So there are broader questions that I think could be interesting. I don't know how long this would be, but it's more like because now we're talking about like all the technical aspects, but does anybody have already some kind of like feedback as to, was it worth it in a way? This is what I was trying to get to. It's like, to try to communicate to the audience, why is there any like hint of some kind of return that they feel like they have gained from going through this exercise? Because right now it's all about, oh, well, you need to do this, you need to do that to improve your security posture. And SLSA is the way you measure this and whatnot. But I think it'd be interesting to see if people already have, and obviously this is the kind of stuff the panelists would have to decide, people participate, if they have information they can share on that. But I think it would be interesting to ask that question if they have some answers.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I put down.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah. Okay.
You did pretty good at summarizing my babbling. I know it's not easy, but thinking out loud here. But
anything else for the panel discussion? I know we only have 4 minutes left, but I still think this has been a quite productive conversation, and we're almost done. I think we only need the SLSA hands-on demo and then the supply chain integrity working group one, in terms of like what we would talk about for the abstract. So how about this? Do folks think that they can add some thoughts on abstracts for this offline? I think we are targeting 24th. 24th is supposed to be the first draft, meaning everything has to be buttoned up and ready for other folks to review, especially from the other SIGs, so that we can get buy-in on like, yes, we want to make sure that we submit this as a group, not necessarily as an individual person. And then once we have those comments, then we'll try to fix them and then get one final look on the 31st to submit by the 3rd. So let me look at a calendar. Calendar. Give me 1 second. Calendar. Okay, how about Friday? Do folks think that they can help add some thoughts on abstract content for hands-on demo and the supply chain integrity working group one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I got 3 yeses. Okay, thank you. I'll try to put it out in the Slack channel too. But I think go ahead.
Yeah, I just have one question on the last point for the group what is it, supply chain integrity working group. Could you brief what is like, you know, part of it, or like?
Yeah. So
yeah.
So this one, I think, was because of some of the work that myself, Jay, and Isaac were working on trying to show how they relate. We never finished that exercise, and I need to schedule calls, which I'm really bad about remembering. But that's essentially what that is saying, okay, supply chain integrity working group has these 3 subgroups, right? What are their purpose? Okay. How do they overlap? Or, you know, where does one pick off versus one drop off? That was my original intent for this particular topic. So it was just to kind of inform the community on how they work together, because right now they're outside of, you know, some of the folks in this group and maybe, you know, STC2F and Fresca. I don't think a lot of people know that answer. So it's more try to broaden that communication and sharing.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, Jay, before we go, I know we have 1 minute left. Did you ever reach out to David Wheeler on these 2 things?
There will be a SSF day.
Okay.
The expert lounge is still unclear. There will be an SSF day. The open SSF day. Not sure about the schedule of it just yet, but there will be an open SSF day.
Okay, awesome. Okay, if you're able to keep us updated, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, because if we can have like a small version of this for Open SSF Day, I think that would be very helpful.
Yep.
For the broader Open SSF community.
Now, I think we have until the 5th of February to get that in if we're trying to do something for
Open SSF Day?
Open SSF Day. I think I'm not sure if that's just the call for papers or or something like that. But I know the 5th is a milestone date. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Anna.
Where do you submit for that? Because I know where to submit for the regular conference, but not for OpenSSF Day.
You know what? Got to find. I have to find that out. I'm not. I don't know that I want to say to the TAC, but that I'm not terribly sure about that. Let me ask.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because obviously we want to, as a group, talk about salsa. But I don't even know the first thing about OpenSSF Day and where the links are. I tried searching for it and I couldn't find anything. So how do you possibly submit call for papers, right? If there's no link. So if you can find that out, that would be fantastic.
Yep.
Okay. I know we are over on time. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Really appreciate the collaboration. I will try to post notes in the Slack channel, and we will meet next week.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
It was
everyone.
nice discussion today. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. നമസ്കാരം. അല്ല ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്ത ടോപ്പിക്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ അഭിപ്രായം നമ്മൾ പറഞ്ഞു.